You're listening to 1069 Click FM, live in color.
I think the thing that entertains me most about the Randy Gregory trade, which, by the way, it was just informed to me by Cordman, thank you very much for the heads up, that Randy Gregory has been traded to the San Francisco 49ers. And once again, just like with Chase Claypool, a 6th and a 7th round pick have also been exchanged between the two teams. But the cherry on the sundae of awkwardness that is the Randy Gregory situation, I found in a Cowboys blog called The Landry Hat, where they were saying, oh, the Cowboys absolutely lucked out of not paying Randy Gregory what would have been an exorbitant contract, which he didn't deserve, pointing out that he'd had his best year as a pro the year before, when he had signed that huge contract with the Cowboys and then backed out of it to go play with the Broncos. So, the cope is real everywhere. But I'm not worried about the cope today because we're not focusing on games that closely. We're just here for some ass talk. And if you don't know what that is, it's a little program here on 1069 Click FM, where we try to sift through the odd prognostication of sports, what do we call it? I'm not sure I call it sports journalism anymore, because as much as some people might like to insist that they're avid practitioners of it, they certainly don't know how to fill in on the details. By the way, my name is Jim B. I'm here just about every Friday or whenever it is that we decide to do it, games willing, just to talk about stuff we can actually figure out as sports fans when it comes to players, teams, coaches, and logic, although sometimes that's impossible. And you're right, Cornman. It is one of the sponsors of today's Ass Talk, a Super Chill Cream Soda. It certainly fucking is. Now, I had forgotten, and this is on me, I admit. I had forgotten that the Cowboys and the 49ers were going to be playing this week. And they've got Sunday Night Football. Big stage. And now with Randy Gregory on the 49ers, I think this is a perfect opportunity for Dallas to show everybody that they deserve the respect that is owed to them, that Cowboys fans believe is owed to them as America's team. And doubly so because the 49ers are the ones that have eliminated them in the playoffs for the past 2 years. This is a perfect moment for these guys to prove that they are for real. Especially if they can keep Randy Gregory from hugging Dak Prescott too much. Oh, God. I understand, Cordman. You know, it's your team. You don't want to get it too ahead of yourself. Only game you've lost at home all season was in the Cup. Is that an old stadium or a different stadium, Luke? Because I don't think I've ever heard you directly mention the Cup, or was that a tournament? Odd. I don't even want to think about the Broncos' dead cap right now. I know they're going to have a $6 million hit for Randy Gregory, know what, and they're paying the prorated veteran minimum this season. That was part of the agreement, that the Broncos pay his salary and not the 49ers. So, it was a yearly tournament. Gotcha. All right, caught up now. Logan. Uh, you know what? I'm gonna leave the Brewers stuff for a little bit just because, I didn't catch any of the games, so I don't have anything to say or contribute that would be accurate or depict what happened in those games. So if you want to give any perspective on that, I will leave it to you. Please try to be as honest as possible. Oh, meanwhile, damn, the Twins' damn bullpen. The Twins' damn bullpen. They are going to need every drop of LSD from Doc Ellis's personal stash, I think, if they want to get past the Astros. Now, I know everybody loves to talk about how much pitching is important. Hell, the big three for the Brewers, including Woodruff, were seen as one of the main reasons that they could make a playoff push this year. But I think the Twins' bullpen might be a bit underrated. Vikings man, I'm not sure where you could find it. In fact, I think it's difficult next to impossible to find original formula LSD these days. But, just keep your ears open, ask around, hang out in places your parents disapprove of. I think you should be okay. The GOAT at the linebacker position, Dick Butkus. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, we also lost another legend yesterday with the passing of Dick Butkus, which that had to have given the Bears at least a little bit of fire to go out and take care of the Commanders. Hot early leads, couldn't extend them in both games. Opportunities with the bases loaded in both games and just couldn't capitalize. Truth. That was the first stat that had jumped out to me from the Brewers postseason, Logan, was how many batters they ended up getting on base and then how few runs they were able to get off of those. All the risp, man, all the risp. Ouch. So, looking at that, what would you say would be something for the Brewers to focus on as far as next season goes? Will there be an emphasis on improving the hitting? Do they need to make changes in the lineup? Is it a coaching issue? Yeah, I was honestly shocked when I saw that happen. MKI, you might have been there for the broadcast. I was streaming that game. They take out Berrios in the fourth inning after he gets one stinking walk and had essentially been shut down good as gold for the entire rest of it. And whoosh, it makes no sense. I saw a bunch of people attributing it to analytics, saying it was a move that seemed like it had been made the previous night while looking at lineups and who had been pitching. Still possible to confuse yourself no matter how professionally you get, I guess. Offensive help. All right. Well, hopefully y'all can do that and win yourself another NL Central title. Maybe make it to the divisional round next year. The Brewers haven't. Let me see. Actually, that's something I don't know in the back of my head. Brewers World Series. The Brewers appeared in the World Series in 1982. They are only one of 6 current MLB clubs that have never won it. Oh, okay. All right, so there is a monkey to get off the club's back. I can be down with that. Yeah, this is why I don't like to make picks, MKI. I think sometimes the the little details and, the X factors that could turn a game one way or another are often so far beyond me. I can only get a general sense of teams from one, highlights, and two, what other fans tell me, and even then I have to take that with a grain of salt. So, Tree's also made some correct predictions over the years. People and himself, for the convenience of humor, kind of forget that. Oh yeah, there's all the baseball coming this weekend. They're trying to get the games into prime time as quickly as possible so they can take advantage of, all the eyes being on TV for NFL and college and say, "Hey, while you're waiting for that game to start, why not take in some baseball?" It moves quickly now, so we put in more commercials. But anyway, oh yeah, there is Nebraska and Illinois tonight at 7 p.m. Okay, Kansas State versus Oklahoma State at 6:30, and meanwhile Cornell versus Harvey. The Rabbit? Ooh. But the Brewers have one of the top minor league farm systems in baseball, so offensive help could come within instead of free agency. That's a best case scenario, Logan. Hope it works out for you guys. I do. Meanwhile, I'm not sure how O's Rangers is going to go because O's still have their bats, but their bullpen is beat up. Meanwhile, they tied the Rangers in the season series 3-3. Does anyone else feel like the Rangers could surprise them? Deepest run in the past 20 years was 2018, the NLCS 7 games against the Dodgers. The battle of the two most met teams in the Big Ten West. It's okay, True North. Nobody's ever on time for this show. Oh, Logan and other Wisconsin fans, I had to ask, did you see, this got put out today, what the 9 conference opponents will be for each member of the expanded Big Ten in 2024. This just got put out today, and it actually answered a lot of questions that I had about how the games get picked. They mentioned it's not only conference, but how often they've played, travel times and distance, and considering there was only 12 games in the normal college football season, that leaves only 3 that they get to choose on their own. So, thankfully, at least in the Big Ten, it's not as lopsided as I initially believed it was. Meanwhile, Quarterman insists that the Rangers can go fall in a 100-foot hole. We give them until the championship series to do that. Vikings man thinks Rangers in 5. Ooh. Oh yeah. Well, that is the weird thing. I still can't get used to USC and UCLA being in the Big Ten. Give me another couple of years, maybe I'll have it figured out. Let's see if anybody else joins the Pac-10. Pretty much true north. The Bears somehow managed to keep a lid on things, even though their defense did try to give up in the second half. They tried. But they got that win for Dick Butkus, and now they're going to celebrate. So, hey, all power to them. Oh, not as an A's fan. Well, A's fans kind of don't really have much to cheer about, unfortunately. Maybe someday soon. Oh, yeah. Notre Dame, Louisville, they're going to get all the money that they can for what will be a high-profile game, especially against who is currently a ranked opponent. Last time I checked the AP Top 25, Notre Dame was number 11. So, Oh, I was off by one. They're currently listed as number 10. And there's Louisville down at 25. Hmm. Oh, that game is at 6:30 on Saturday. There's going to be all the fingernail biting going on at that time. Badgers play Alabama in Madison next year. Wow. Hey, occasionally those SEC teams go north of the Manson-Nixon line, and I guess we can remark their bravery for doing it, that they don't get lost inside our huge cities and end up homeless and sleeping beside the heroin dispensers that we have in our subways. Now, when I looked through the NFL schedule, out of all the teams and matchups that I saw, I didn't expect to be interested in the Texans Falcons the most. I mean, it's two teams that are desperately trying to rebuild themselves into, actual competitors. Falcons have early struggles in the season, are trying to prove that they're for real. The Texans have surprised everybody, even without an offensive line, and CJ Stroud is starting to make magic. The It just seems like, two teams are in the exact same position. And I could see this game getting really ugly between them. Uh, no, they got a sixth round pick, True North, and they had to tack on a seventh round pick to Chase Claypool. Or it may have been the other way around. One of those two. Why does the NCAA refuse to put Michigan at number one, even though they deserve it? All right, so you assume you're talking about the Michigan Wolverines. Let's take let's take a look at their schedule, see how they've done so far this season. Okay, so they started the season getting a squash victory against East Carolina. All right. Another squash victory against UNLV, another squash victory against Bowling Green, and then another squash victory against Rutgers, and then Nebraska. Yeah, going over the list of opponents that they've gone through so far, I can kind of see why they're hesitant to put Michigan at number one right now. Who the hell is at number one right now? Oh, of course, Georgia. That's right. All right, now we look forward. Minnesota, Indiana, Michigan State. Oh, God. There was actually a false rumor flying around in the early morning hours that Urban Meyer had accepted a job as the Michigan State football coach. It got smacked down a few hours later. But, yep, the misinformation machine is hard at work. Purdue, Penn State, that might be, it might not be until the end of the season that Michigan earns the respect of the vote getters to put them in at the number one spot. And they'll have to, do well against Penn State and Ohio State to do that. Yeah, and he went to the Dolphins. That is right. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Let me see something. That is a good point. They don't play Wisconsin at all. So, hey. Georgia has struggled against unranked SEC opponents, and Michigan has taken care of business. Yeah, this is the Cordman. I don't know if anybody ever told you about the before times in before the college football playoff was a thing, but the bitching and moaning and arguing to come out every year about not only the coaches poll, the AP poll, who was supposed to be number one, and whether they actually deserved it, who voted for who, and who was going to what bowl game, and all of that. And as much fun as college football can be, that shit made it a headache every year. And even with the college football playoff, you see that that's still going on because, you know, the poll is, I think clearly Georgia is getting a lot of respect for their deep runs into the football playoffs and winning a championship. And Michigan, well, they just haven't. They've gotten to the playoffs, but usually knocked away. Who will be the worst NHL team coming forward? Cornman thinks it's the Sharks or the Coyotes or the Ducks. Who will be the worst NHL team? I have to say, there's always a good case to be made for the Blue Jackets. Small market team can never really afford to pay its players. They draft superstars that after the rookie contract's over, they always want to leave because Columbus. But hey. If the fans of Columbus want to step up like the fans for the Green Bay Packers do, and make the city as welcoming a place as possible for these players, then that would help. That would probably help. USC's defense is overrated. I'm going to have to defer to you on that, Court Man, because unfortunately I didn't get to watch USC lately, so I have no idea. Whew. And also, as a little gift for all of you, I still do see the Lions-Panthers as a trap game this Sunday. Our secondary is still in flux. Week 5 is when, I think identities start to get established for teams. And I think Carolina would like to do anything to keep themselves from being the worst team in football and losing their number 1 pick again. Hi, Ishii. Just a quick question for you, Ishii. You may have heard the news that the Broncos traded Randy Gregory to the 49ers. So everybody who is a Dallas Cowboys fan or a Broncos fan is saying, good riddance to bad rubbish. He was a slacker. He never played up to his potential. He only had 1 year, 2021. And how? You have any thoughts? They gave up 28 to San Jose State, 28 to Arizona, nearly blowing a 28-point lead to the Buff, which, by the way, got destroyed by Oregon. Let me see. Where is USC in? Oh, is that them at number 9? Southern California with their own 5-0 record. Also, the hiring and the resignation of Mike Babcock. Well, Mike Babcock has a way of just, I think making everything worse these days. Yep. Ask the Toronto Maple Leafs about that sometime. Let's see. I had written thoughts down for all the other NFL games. Jags Bills, Buffalo fans, I know that London has been trying to knock down a few of their older buildings because they can't get away with just letting them burn anymore. So if any of you, when you're over there, want to volunteer to be human cannonballs for the Tory government, best of luck to you. Ishii says all that she does know is if he acts out, he won't be there for long. 49ers don't play that. Kyle must see something in him that others didn't. That is true. At this point, I think Caleb Williams is going to be a fifth-year senior at this point. I don't know how he'd want to play for any of the teams that could potentially pick him right now. Let's see, Ravens, Steelers, and Saints, Patriots. I only have them down as let them fight. Titans, Colts. I think the best possible ending for that game is Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor leaving the stadium at halftime and then announcing their intention to play in the XFL. Kyle looked at his Nebraska highlights. Well, he did inform us that he was a Husker. Let's see. I did make a couple predictions just so that I can you could have something to throw back in my face. I predicted that Giants-Dolphins will be Chase Claypool's one good game for the year, and then after that he'll be a ghost. Could be backup. You know, if your defensive line has enough depth that you can keep Randy Gregory in there for backup, I don't think there's any objection there. Bengals Cardinals, meanwhile, I think that has actually the potential to be a really contentious, low-scoring game. I will give this one away early. There will be a win condition for Sunday's bingo game. Yes, there will be a bingo game on Sunday as well as tomorrow for Wisconsin-Rutgers. Now, let me see the time. Oh, damn. Jets-Broncos is an afternoon game. Oh. So, the thing that I am rooting for myself, and it's the only thing I want, Jets getting a delay of game penalty against the Broncos. That's all I really want. And if they do, everyone wins bingo for the day. I'm doing good, Kip. It is getting colder. The temperature dropped 20 degrees today out here, MKI, and the cats are upset that I haven't had the windows open. Ishii, I may forget to wear red, but I am definitely going to put some red up for that game. Don't you worry. Or a safety, that too. All right, go down my list of games. Chiefs-Vikings. I'm actually going to call this an upset, as in, no matter what, somebody will be upset about either the results of or who attended this game. So, and finally, Monday Night Football. Packers and Raiders. Yeah. They're trying to build up the matchup that will be coming in the passing game between Devontae Adams and Jair Alexander, which, will have me. That should be interesting to watch. But yeah. Well, considering it's Chiefs-Vikings, somebody is going to get upset about what happens. Big Coco Brock. I'm sure he appreciates the support. Maybe you don't have to tell everybody that you're going to be naked while you're doing it, but I hadn't heard the nickname of Big Coco. Must really be be a big fan of late-stage Disney animation. Oh, but the thing that I really want to see happen in the Packers-Raiders game is for Josh Daniels and Joe Burrow to transform into their forms as the protectors of Gozer, who is revealed at halftime to be emerging from the back of Mike Tirico's head. And the Packers win 19-17 after Aaron Jones gets bitten in half by a manticore. Jordan Love shoves the ball into his pants and then throws his lifeless legs over the line into the end zone. Oh, yeah, that is going to be, like I said, Cord, man, for Niners, it feels like business as usual. But for the Cowboys, this is very much a prove-it game for them. Meanwhile, Ishii has put together a bet with... Oh, no. Why would you bet with your sister on that, man? You got to be seen in cowboy gear, like out in public if you lose. All right, you... I thought I was being weird with that whole dress up like a duck and go to Boston to ride the duck boat with the mod championship belt thing. But are you going to have the cowboy hats and the spurs? Because that honestly could seem like a way to have some fun with it. Maybe get a hobby horse that, like a little cap gun 6-shooter. Have a little bit of fun with it. Oh, that's a good question. What do you get if the Niners win? Yeah, chaps, depending on whether it's going to be evening wear. If Niners win, she's got to wear Niner gear and be seen in it, I assume. I'm sure you are, Ishii. I am sure you are. Oh, in case y'all wondering, yes, I am trying to keep track of the NHL. I'm going to get more into it in October and November once the college football season starts to wind down. But for the beginning of the season, which if you haven't been paying attention is going to be this Tuesday, they're going to start slowly with like a couple games every day. And the matchups that are the most interesting to me, you may disagree, but these are the ones that caught my eye. Kraken versus Golden Knights. I had completely forgotten that Vegas won the Stanley Cup last year. It just right out of my head. But I bet the Kraken are looking for a little bit of vengeance. There's also the Canadiens versus the Maple Leafs the next night on October 11th. Can the Maple Leafs get a strong start to the year on their way to breaking Steve Dangle's heart one more time? And then, of course, next Friday, it is the Pittsburgh Penguins versus my Washington Capitals. I cannot wait. So, oh yeah, I saw that in the scheduled True North, and I thought, nah. So, yeah, I thought y'all could check that one out on your own if you're going to take in some CFL this weekend. Yeah, this is a much older one. I got this from when I was younger. This is from back in the days when they were still playing at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland, where where nobody could get to. Oh, very so yes, Dan, very very old. Not quite as old as the puck, as the caught puck that I have around here somewhere, which I've shown on screen before, but, been around for a while. I can't believe I managed to hang on to it all this time. I wonder if there's actually a copyright thing on here somewhere. Indicates... Oh, there it is. NHL 1989. Woo. Wow. Oh. Oh, no, I'm not looking to get steamed hams or steamed anything this week, MKI. Maybe later, depending on how my stomach is. So, before we go, are there any other pieces of sports news, minutia, that you think are important to bring up before we sign off for the day? Oh, you still have a Norris Championship t-shirt. Nice. Nice. Honestly, somewhere in the back of my closet is an old Monty Python Flying Circus t-shirt that has all of the different positions John Cleese has during the Ministry of Silly Walks sketch. It's, oof. There are already a couple holes in it. I got to get that thing rescanned and made into another t-shirt. Luke Raymer was ruled out versus Illinois. Unfortunate. Kitties are doing good. Monty is out on the couch. I'm assuming staring right at Angie, who left earlier in the show. Don't know where she went. At this point, MKI, I just assume Monty always wants overtime. But I know what they're really waiting for is for me to feed them. It's getting towards that time of day. Also, MKI, please tell the Rams that if they figure out how to stop the butt shuffle, the league will forever be in your debt. And be sure to share the tips on how you did that shit, because it's getting ridiculous at this point. Well, that's it. I've gone through all the notes of stuff that I wanted to talk about. We've got a big weekend coming up for a lot of teams. Like I said, week 5 is once again the week where we find out who everybody is in the NFL. And all the Canadian Packers fans get to watch them play. The Raiders are on Canadian Thanksgiving. Ishii's chinchillas are yelling at her. Aaron Donald and company stopping the butt shuffle? Absolutely. That sounds like a great idea. And hopefully somewhere in the world, somebody is being called out for leg before wicket. And that's going to do it for this afternoon of Ass Talk. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and just shooting the breeze a little bit. I will be back tomorrow for Wisconsin Rutgers. Oh, the college Big Ten nonsense is fresh and alive here on another stupid sports show on 106.9 Click FM. And y'all take care of yourselves. I'll see you around the internet. Good night, Milwaukee, wherever you are.